Hello, everybody, and welcome back to EGL. I am Colonel. Beside me is Paca Paul, and we are bringing you Revolution versus VBU.
And Colonel, let me tell you, this is one of the most hype matchups we could be casting this week because both of these teams are so freaking good. VBU Krypton have such a powerhouse roster that they brought into the league this season, and despite Revolution's record, the games that they've lost have been to teams either on their highs or already at the top. So no matter what, I think this series is gonna be a banger.
Absolutely, and we have to remember over in amateur scene in Blue Otter, we do have two of those champions coming into EGL in both the bot lane and mid lane for VBU. So definitely bringing some firepower of their own as we get into picks and bans, and the first one off the table is going to be this Zac.
And I mean, this champion just has so much engage and so much utility right now in the meta that I think it's a really good champion to ban here. And with Hackram getting buffs on the patch, he's actually going back on the ban list.
Wow, really interesting. Seems like that might not be something that VBU is comfortable playing. I don't think although it has gotten a lot stronger, I do not think it's B1able by any means. So not too sure on that ban as long as, or I guess otherwise, they must not be comfortable playing it. But that will be Nocturne off the table as well. Another jungler, but also, of course, can be flexed in the solo lanes. Wukong the same in both jungle and top, as well as the Rakan.
And I mean, Colonel, we're seeing what's so important in the meta right now, and it's at attacking that jungle pool. Because though the champions that are strong are incredibly powerful, there is a high echelon of like 5 or 6 champions that tend to plummet very quickly after you get out of those top 5. So a lot of a jungle pool maybe being choked out here in the first phase, with Set being the lock-in after an Ashe ban.
That is a very confident Set. Remember, it is also flexible pick, can go in either the top or the support. Remember, Ashe as well, very stable ban against Revolution. Aardvarks has been known for that kind of a playstyle, just ready to play that aggressive lane, but also always be that engaged force for his team as an ADC, something that only Ashe can really provide. VBU, on the other side, will be locking in Diana here.
And I mean, this is such a powerful pick for Kyton. This guy is so good at Diana. They always started it as a jungle mid pick, but it always ends up falling to Kyton just because, man, is he proficient on this champion. So it's a comfort pick. I expect it to go mid lane. It can be flex. That's why it's so scary in draft, but I think you'd be joking yourself. Otherwise, as we see lethality, I'm assuming it'll be lethality, but as we see Varus locked in R3 for VBU Krypton.
Yeah, I would be a little bit surprised if they do decide to give all fire to Diana, but I do love this Sejuani here into a Varus that you're, of course, expecting to go lethality. The tanks can really ruin that lethality as they go later in the game. And Ezreal, he's so good on this patch. I've been having so much fun playing him. Paul, talk me through how this champ got so strong.
So Ezreal got crazy buffs on this patch. It started with his armor and his HP regen, which are just buffs to the champion himself. It made his lane so much stronger. It made his regen so much better so he could stay in lane even longer. But the best part is on the same patch that Ezreal gets buffed. And he did also get buffs, like on 10-9. He also gets Sunderer buffs on this patch, and now instead of going this Mythicless Duskblade build, he's going this Sunderer build, and he has become this unkillable bruiser tank carry assassin, and it is insane. I'm so surprised that VBU Krypton let this champion slip through draft because Revolution got a killer ADC here.
Ezreal taking the mantle of tanky assassin bruiser out of Ornn's hands. That's what we usually see. But going into the second round of ban phase, it looks like mostly going to be focused in on the mid lane. Of course, there are flex on both sides, but the mid lane and top lane pools, the solo laners, are going to still be very open. That will be Victor and Yone off the table.
And I mean, Victor and Yone are champions that have just found a lot of presence in amateur and in even pro play, just because these champions provide so much value in the way that they're able to team fight in that mid and late game. Yone has so much 1v9 potential. Victor, when you get to scale into the late game, just has so much carry potential. And they have a lot of really good matchups, with few matchups that truly counter them into the dirt. So it makes sense that both of these champions are banned away here, as we also see Nara and Leona, that same type of super good team fight, really safe to pick champions that amateur and pro play alike love so much, Colonel. So VBU here to blind, and I mean, they're showing a lot of flexibility in this draft, so really could be any champion. And it's Kyton's Corki. Are you kidding me?
This is going to be one of the first times that we're seeing this Diana flex into the jungle, but take away one of his strongest picks to give him yet another. We saw him absolutely shred. He had back-to-back quadras in his games over in BOL finals. So definitely an absolute menace on the Corki. And we'll see what the answer is. It's going to be the Orianna in the mid lane against it. A pretty safe pick. And looks like, actually, I was going to say a Rumble in the top lane would be pretty interesting. We haven't seen Rumble in that role for quite a couple patches now. He has been way more popular in the jungle in the mid lane. But let's see what they pick for this final B5.
And I think this early hover means that they're showing set support, which is one of Islamic Samurai's best champions. It's one of his most favorite champions, but all of a sudden they lock in Taric here to prevent all of the dive from Diana, Galio, Corki, and Set is going in the top lane for Akbalo here. And let me tell you, Colonel, both of these drafts look good. Corki is another champion that absolutely capitalizes from the Divine Thunder buffs, and wait, we might see a Nasus lock-in, which is another champion that just became so powerful off of Divine Thunder, and there it is. And oh my goodness, Colonel, we are seeing what this meta is right now in a nutshell. It is, if your champion can abuse Divine Thunder and the box is checked yes, this champion's just OP.
Absolutely. A pretty interesting draft. A lot of stuff that we have yet to see so far in EGL. Remember, we are slowly closing in towards the end of the season, so these games are going to continue to matter. We have 3 weeks left, including this one, so every win counts. VBU are atop the standings. So Paka, you see all the drafts, you see the support Taric in there set going up in the top side, as well as that mid jungle flex for Diana, Corki. After you see everything, who do you pin for game 1?
I think Revolution Esports have the draft right, but I don't think they were taking enough notes and scouting in the midweek. We just saw Kyton absolutely 1v9 BOL finals earlier in the week across the scene in other leagues in amateur, and I mean, if you were watching those streams, let me tell you, this Kyton kid can play the Corki. So I think they got the draft right. I like the set, I like the Sedge, I like the Ezreal. The Orianna I've always been up and down on, and the Taric responds to the way that VBU Krypton want to dive in and just attack Revolution Esports, but at the end of the day, these champions have so much raw power behind them that I think it doesn't matter how well your comp is structured if a champion just one-shots you. And I think that's what we might see here in this game. If the solo lanes of VBU Krypton get too far ahead, it doesn't really matter how well you play as a team if it's like, oops, you're just dead. So I'm going to have to go with VBU Krypton, but I don't think it's because of draft strategy.
And surprise, surprise, I'm going to disagree with you just a little bit. I've been such an Ezreal simp. He's been so strong. As long as they could survive till Ezreal hits 3-4 items, as soon as he gets that Frozen Heart, he just becomes God. It is ridiculous what he can do on the Rift. So I think as long as Rev can stop the onslaught of how powerful VBU solo lanes are, I think they should have this game in the bag.
And you know what, Colonel? I guess we only have one way to find out. We'll have to see as we get into game 1 here very soon. But until then, we're going to catch a quick break. Everybody sit right here as we bring you game 1 of Revolution Esports versus VBU Krypton in just a few moments.
check your body. Let's not sleep together. You can't sleep neither. Let's not sleep together. You can't sleep neither. Let's not sleep together. Check your body. Check your body. Check your body. You can't sleep in all day. Let's not sleep together. You can't sleep in all day. Let's not sleep
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to EGL Week 5. We've got Revolution, we've got VBU Krypton, and this is going to be a crazy game. The draft has set us up for an absolute banger start to the series.
And I mean, again, we were talking about this in the pregame, Colonel. Both of these drafts are looking fantastic, I think. More so player skill on one side and more so cohesion on the other. But nonetheless, I mean, we're gonna be in for a hell of a game one. Let's think about what we can see in all of these lanes here. I think what we're going to be looking at is how well can this Varus attack this Ezreal Tark early in the bot lane. I feel like it is very important to Revolution's win condition to make sure this Ezreal is strong out of lane. Whereas we are going to go into a pause very quickly, but it'll let me get my point across, which is even better for me. This Varus is a really, really, really good matchup into Ezreal. Now, they picked Ezreal as the counter matchup because Ezreal is a very OP champion, but the reason why Varus is currently blindable is because it kind of deters the idea of picking a Ezreal into it because it can pressure it out of lane very, very hard. With that said, if Zygon, Aardvarks, and Chopbarter can work together to make sure that Toxin cannot do what he needs to do to put this Ezreal behind, it can get out of lane, even though it'll be down maybe 10-20 farm, and because this champion is so god tier at the moment, it should be able to carry out the game. However, I mean, we don't know if that's really going to be the way this team approaches it. This is the way that I would approach it if I were in game here, Colonel, but tell me a little bit about what these solo lanes are going to be doing.
Solo lane is going to be a very similar story, but in the opposite direction. This Nasus is hopefully, if Vixper can do it right, be pressured out early. He does have Spellbook, so he's going to have a little bit less trading capabilities in the early landing phase. If he did or were to have a grasp, per se. So that will give the set an opening to potentially punish this Nasus early, similarly to what Toxin is going to try to do for this Ezreal. But Corki has Cole. Talk to me about that.
Well, you see, Colonel, and the most important matchup of them all is who can hit the creeps the goodest of good. You know, the really proper term for that is
Absolutely.
if you can slap those creeps, the better. The more better you can hit those creeps, the more winner you can do. And I mean, that's what Corki's going for here. It does give the Orianna a little more pressure in this lane, as she does have a combat starting item versus the Corki who has a Cole. But I mean, both of these champions are looking to farm early anyway. I don't disagree with it too much. If he can play the lane safe and he tries not to fight early and his team tries not to fight around him early, maybe he gets to benefit from it unpunished because again, Oriana doesn't have a ton of punish this matchup. It's just, mage to mage trying to scale up. So we'll see what happens there as it looks like the Sejuani is opting into a 2-camp clear into the top side. I'm expecting he'll take the Wolves and the blue buff before he looks to make a play, whereas the Diana, the more farming jungler, is looking for the full clear. But there is some action early on in the bot lane. Colonel, honestly, I'm just excited for first action here by these junglers. I think we're going to see a clash over this first scuttle.
Absolutely. It looks like Sejuani should be there just a little bit sooner because she did skip one camp on her bottom side. With that being said, it looks like so far both Fixper and Unknown Angel have priorities in the top and mid lane respectively. So this should hypothetically be a pretty easily secured Scuttle Crab for the Sejuani, but we'll see if Diana is going to try and change that.
And I mean, as this Diana starts to do her last camp, if she's able to get it done and even smite the camp, she should be able to arrive level 4 with no smite here at the Scuttle, but it may just be too late for the Sejuani. There is a good trade going in on the top side. I wonder if instead of going to the Scuttle, Diana could look to punish Vixper pushing in here, but it looks like her clear is just too slow to make anything happen. And if the Sejuani paths straight through mid lane, this could be a double Scuttle for a Sejuani into Diana here.
That'd be a great start if she's able to do so. And Set is there. Diana does spot it out, though. Looks like Sejuani will try and get it back. And on perfect timing, Islamic Samurai and Toxin will roam up to make sure that Allfire does not get double scuttled. So a good crisis aversion from this bot lane of VBU to make sure their jungler can get an early Scuttle Crab. And Kyne is even going to help out.
And I mean, I guess with the bot prio, this is what you can expect. And a trade of the scuttles is still very normal for both sides. So, again, early on, not too much action. We're not actually seeing these CS advantages being pushed that hard either. So, again, a lot of limited stuff early on, Colonel, as both of these teams, I guess, are taking it slow into the first objective because they do have scaling on both sides and the willingness to team fight late.
Absolutely. Scaling is a pretty interesting question when you're looking at this game because in the side lane, of course, Nasus is always going to infinitely scale as he continues to get stacks. And Ezreal, as he gets those items, becomes a menace in his own right. So both in their own respective ways are going to have some great scaling options. The real question is who's going to start coming out sooner, as there's a pretty good trade up in the top lane.
There is, and I mean, we have an Ezreal simp on the desk, so we can tell who Colonel's going to be voting for all series. If there's an Ezreal picked, we know there's going to be a little bit of caster bias out here for someone's new favorite champion. And I mean, I can't blame you. This champion is super, super strong, Colonel. And I mean, if you abuse it and it gets you that free LP, why not root for it as well? But the thing that's really, I don't want to say upsetting here, is that we haven't seen either jungle, but I guess a little nerve-wracking is we haven't seen either jungler make plays here. Both these junglers are good at what they do. They are playing matchups that like to farm a little, but not making any plays early can get punished by other teams and other game strategies, and Allfire is finally looking for the first play of the game, but what I was saying is almost 6 minutes feels a little late for our first gank to be coming in here, Colonel.
And especially because the wave is pushing in to Revolution. That's going to be Galio looking in with the charge. He will get the taunt on Sharp Otter. That's going to be a lot of damage. Diana coming in, but that's going to be the sniper. She's going to go forward. The flash will not do enough. And first blood going over to Allfire. Oh, on the top side, there's going to be a lot of drain. SW flashing forward. Fixper will find himself a trade kill on the top side. And the solo lanes continue to fire for Revolution. That's going to be another solo kill. Both solo laners getting 1v1 killed for BBU.
And my bad for saying there was no action at 6 minutes as we see kills happen in all three parts of the Rift, Colonel. This is absolutely insane. The gank came in. It was well. Tark needed to flash earlier. Sharp Otter so greedy holding his flash for as long as he did. But it doesn't matter. His teams back him up with 2 solo kills by both of the solo laners of VBU. And it's insane. Below trades one back. Let's see the replay here, Colonel. Take us into this one.
Akbalo coming back in with the TP. Vixper did not respect it, but he had the Fury of the Stands, using that ultimate perfectly to keep his HPI. Able to get that trade kill. That's an important one for this top lane.
They could have been very, very dire if that went the other way, Colonel, because if Akbalo TP's back and dies, his lane is everything but over to Vixper. And honestly, with a fight, that would have made the difference between just a couple inches, a couple autos, one spacing error could have been all it took to swing the fight the other way. Akbalo gets away with a little bit of murder here, because now he's in a very nice spot for his lane when if he didn't play his cards right in that second fight, it could have been GG top. Now, with that said, we still haven't seen Sesh hit the map here, which is, again, a little concerning for me. As a jungler, I love to make plays early, and it's a little upsetting that these junglers aren't making that many, but maybe with Sejuani, Zygon getting the ultimate on that Sej, it is such a powerful ability. It has a relatively long cooldown, so you need to use it on tempo so you can get out a lot during the early game. If I'm him, I'm looking for a play right now around this top side.
The Rift is alive, so whichever team does make a play can look to that objective as well. Though there looks like there might be a play in the mid lane. Sharpotter has roamed up. That's going to be the Glacial Prism. He's going to be looking onto Kyton. Can they find the Razzle? No, they do not find it, but that's going to be the Shockwave. That's going to be a good amount of damage. The Ignite comes down. Sharpotter will find himself the kill. And there's another gank on the top side. That's going to be Moonfall onto Vixper. Can he get the W off? He's going to get the Showstopper. Can he survive? He's going to get some damage, but there's no real way to get out of that. Blow will take the second kill for himself. That's going to be another trade now, 3-3.
And Colonel, in that play topside, Diana uses her dash incredibly well to dip and dive around that set W, which is so lethal as we go into replay here. So Vixper is trying to push in his wave as Zygon does hit his ulti onto Kyton. The follow-through is just not there. The Q does swing wide as well from Zygon, but the wave coming through to give Kyton the kill. But up in the top side here, as this game comes in, Vixper starts off by playing this so well, but there's action in the bot lane, and Sharpotter.
Oh, that's going to be insta-pop from Sharpotter. Toxin getting that arrow and not able to let Sharpotter even attempt. Would have had to pull a very quick ultimate, excuse me. But either way, he will fall. Actually, he's level 5. He was not able to do so using their level advantage to get just a little bit more damage. That's a great 2v2 kill for Toxin in his Lapis Samurai.
And honestly, Colonel, I think I cursed the game with a little bit of the caster curse. Just 3.5 minutes ago, I was saying how there was no action, and suddenly we see 7 kills in the span of 3 minutes as this game has been absolutely opened wide. And oh my goodness, has there been action in this early game, Colonel?
Absolutely. Zygon, he is sitting, he finally finds the word that he's been sitting on as, oh, this is almost going to kill. Aardvark's on such low HP. But if we take a look at the gold, after all is said and done, it will be about an 800 gold lead for VBU. So all this trading, that one extra kill to their name, will give them a bit of an advantage. And Nasus is a big part of that. In a lane that, hypothetically, he should be losing early. He does not have a summoner, he does not have a rune that would help him in the trades, but that's actually going to be another look for fight. Fury of the Stand is going to be used. Vixper is in a lot of trouble. He's going to use the Soul Chopper to try and get out. Allfire has a dash. He's going to be able to find this. Vixper does not even have to use his W. He will fall yet again. And Akbalo starting to make a difference in the top side.
He absolutely is, but I don't want to say, Colonel, I don't think it's all Akbalo here. I'm going to say it's a Diffie in the Jiffy so far from Allfire. He has been top punishing this winning set matchup so much. There was a trade kill early on by Akbalo on the Nasus, but ever since then, this Diana has been an absolute menace to Set's lane. And if I'm in call right now, I'm telling my Sejuani, come gank me, please. I'm getting camped. Help me out. And it's just not happening so far from Zygon, as he's not able to make the plays that Allfire is making. He's not able to match this tempo, and it is proving costly for this set so far, as he's just taking gank after gank after gank. Now, with that said, Toxin might be caught.
That thought. Toxin is going to try and use the ultimate, but the snipe from downtown from Zygon will lock him down and set himself up for a beautiful kill for that Ezreal. And they're going to use the Rift Herald instantly. They're going to try and crack some plates. They do not have this down already, so it will not kill the tower. But Galio is roaming down. It looks like they may potentially try to defend this.
And I think they drop it a little early for my liking, but I think they're looking to also set up for the
Ooh,
Drake.
that's a big moonfall. He's going to be using the Cosmic Radiance to try and keep everybody alive. That's a lot of damage. The taunt is there, but the Cosmic Radiance is still keeping them all relatively healthy. Now Sharpotter's HP is finally falling, and Aklo will take himself onto a killing spree. Aardvark is going to try and get himself away, but that's a flash forward onto the Sejuani. Justice Punch will not land. And Aardvark, he just has not scaled up enough yet. He only really has the Sheen to deal some damage here. And they're absolutely punishing on the bottom side.
They are, but when it's all said and done with the rift plates that they get in the top side, the gold lead has stabilized almost down to 400. So they did drop the rift a little early for my liking, not getting more plates than they could have. But they were trying to get Drake positioning. But they end up overstaying and losing the Drake anyway, so they miss out on both ends of the play there. Nonetheless, the gold is back in their pockets with a little bit of a gold lead, but there's another
That's going to be the package looking in onto 3. Can they find the taunt? He will find 2 of them, and that's going to be so much damage. Varus taking himself a clean double kill, set up beautifully by his team. And that is a massive fight, trying to continue to push their advantage, because remember, when that TP from Nasus came down, Vixper did get first tower out of it. So, trying to make sure to punish Set for staying up here and not using his teleport.
Exactly, Colonel. And Kaiden's angle on the package there was insane. Coming from mid lane, almost seemingly out of the invade altogether, he finds his way with the max range of the package, being able to sneak in here. As you look, as Islamic Samurai, Allfire, and Toxin are looking to walk in, Kaiden holding onto the package. They have Sejuani on a ward from earlier. They're going to spot him out in Sharpwater right now. And Kaiden is coming over the wall, starting this action and keeping them from going out. He's able to have so much mobility to get to safety, but the setup is all his team needs, as Kaiden absolutely carries that pick, and the follow-up is there just on time to create a fantastic play for their team. And we're seeing Mythics coming through, and what I was talking about in the pregame, Colonel, we got 2 Divine Sunders locked in for VBU on the Nasus and the Corki. And let me tell you, am I a fan of this item? It is so OP.
Absolutely, and I have to give so much credit to Islamic Samurai on that play on the back end. Setting up that vision, that's been a lot of why Zygon has had so much trouble being able to make a play. It's because he's always been warded out in the jungle, and a lot of that goes onto this Galio. He's been doing so much work to track Sejuani. Now Sejuani on the top side trying to find another play, but they know exactly where you are. Razzle will keep Galio at bay, but it's starting to look a little bit difficult for Rev.
It is looking a little bit difficult, but with that said, the gold lead isn't that far yet, and as Ezreal is still getting time to scale up, as they may have been caught in the mid lane here. Toxin is too
That's
far
a Glacial
forward.
Prison, that's a Razzle, that's a Dazzle, and that's going to be the shutdown going over to Aardvarks, set up beautifully by a support in jungle. These ADs are getting gifted by the rest of their team and absolutely putting it to work. And that's going to be Toxin going to the Fountain.
And again, the shutdown being claimed onto the right target. Ezreal finding himself the shutdown, and he has a shutdown of his own now as he needs to get a base off quick. He shouldn't be hitting this tower. Colonel, I think they're in trouble.
Uh-oh, it looks like Sharpwater is going to be a sacrificial Mountain Man as he runs his best away. He's gonna, oh no, he's gonna use the ultimate. That is not a cooldown you like to see. Now Aardvark stepped too far trying to help his support, and he will give his life over for his shutdown, going over to exactly who you do not want it on. Nasus is absolutely fed.
And the bot lane with a bit of a throw here. They're hitting the mid-tier 1 for no reason. They need to get buys off with this shutdown as Vixper flashes forward into danger.
That's
Colonel.
a
He might be
big
dead.
flash. I don't know if he wanted to do so. He loses half his HP, but fortunately left there was no more members there other than Toxin, so they were not able to punish it further, but that almost could have been dangerous.
Yeah, and the flash forward seems to be a little tilt-induced because that flash was looking for nothing here. Your best carry is down, and excuse me, it seems that they're trying to make too much happen when they don't have to, and it's costing them here early, Colonel.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
Absolutely, that's yet another turret going to fall. That's going to be the first one for VBU, matching what Set was able to get earlier. And if we toggle the gold for a second, Set has himself a 20 CS advantage and a 200 gold deficit. Nasus is so strong. despite being down in CS, he's going to continue to scale. Remember, he scales infinitely, so it's starting to look sort of dire when Rev is just going to continue to get shredded by these Nasus Qs.
He is just going to get shredded by these Nasus Qs, especially since he's gone Gore Drinker for the mathematically correct set. And people have been loving this build because of the W one-shots. But remember, Sundra deals 12% max HP. So the more HP you build, the more damage those Nasus Qs do percentage-wise. So not that set should have in any way changed his build per se. It just shows why Nasus is such a strong pick into this matchup here, because it's able to get so much value out of the Sundra, even more than usual, as we're seeing third Drake spawn here, and I think we're going to see a contest by Revolution as they're pushing out the mid wave and trying to get down here just in time. But Kaiden has the package, Colonel.
Absolutely, that is an important cooldown to watch. They're going to try and test their luck anyway. They're a little bit late to two-shot botch lane, but that's the flag! That's the steal! You've got to be kidding me! Now the package is going in under the backline. Galio is going to use his heroic entrance, but everyone has disengaged. Set with a massive W will find a kill before he dies. That's going to be a 2-for-1 and the steal for Revolution. That's exactly the best they could have hoped for.
They absolutely could have hoped for nothing more than that, as Zygon comes up clutch with that steal here, Colonel. And I mean, with the package and all the power that VBU had, I think that there's really good carry positioning here from Revolution to get them out of the fight. But let's take a look here. So the Drake is starting to be hit by VBU as they push the mid wave out. They're walking down, looking for the late contest. Aardvarks is going to launch that true shot barrage, and the flash steal from Zygon, so clutch, as Corki flies into the backline. And with the hero's entrance coming in, two really well-timed flashes gets the carries of Revolution out alive, as Set does a little bit of a dance in the backline, being able to trade back one, but it does trade his life as well. And I think if you're both teams, you're decently happy with it. Smite steals happen. I think you say, all right, Wildfire, you got to get the next one, but it's all good, buddy. And they get some gold in return still, but the most important part of this whole thing is that Revolution delays Soul Point by another 5 minutes, and it gives their comp the time it needs to scale.
Important to note, if those earlier two Drakes were taken slower, that could have been riskier because Baron would have been on the table. But when the Drake spawned at 18 minutes, they could only get Rift Herald. Diana does have it in her inventory, but couple minutes later, and that could have been a much more dangerous play.
It absolutely could have, because if you give Rift 2 crashes in the mid game, I know it doesn't give the gold it does during plates, but I mean, just having so much pressure on the map, I'm not exactly an LS believer with leaving mid-tier ones up. I think if you have the opportunity to open up the map, you take it every time, as Vixmer's catching out Samurai in the bot lane.
That's the Dazzle, going to find the stun onto Islamic, but the team has arrived, and there's more members rotating. Unknown Angel wanted to finish off that cannon first. Potentially could have been a catch had he decided to rotate, but he's going to continue to farm up instead.
Yeah, I thought we were going to see a little more catch there, but I guess the set is too far behind, and the Galio is just able to escape with his life very early on. As we go back to farming for the next couple minutes, we have 2 minutes on Drake. Baron has spawned, but we're seeing a lot of teams, especially in Amateur now, not take as many risks around Baron. We haven't seen those old-fashioned Season 8, Season 9 Baron dances that we saw before the Rift changes. But nonetheless, we're seeing some vision control to fight over here as Revolution is forced out by Act Below. 6-1-2 on this Nasus, looking absolutely massive in this game. But the mid wave's being contested. I mean, we're seeing definitely a low right now, but there can be a catch here. I think that VBU has a ton of one-shot potential if they're just able to find that taunt with Islamic followed up by a stun from that Varus just being able to absolutely explode one, and maybe they can turn on to Baron themselves, Colonel, but I think we're going to...
Important to be aware of, Corki is in the side lane. He does have the teleport available. No one is matching him at this moment. So VBU, more than content to let him continue to be there, waiting for this package cooldown until they take their next engagement.
Absolutely, and Corki has timed his package around these Drake spawns. If you see him at every Drake fight with this package, no, that isn't luck, that is intentional. There's a way for you to set up your package so that you have it for every single Drake, and that is what a good Corki player knows how to do. He knows how to set up those plays around Drake with the package. And if we look at Zygon versus Allfire here as well, we are seeing a 2-level advantage coming out from him, and it's looking like we are kind of having the difference between if Aardvarks can carry in the bot side and or can Nasus and Diana carry in this top jungle.
That's a great question, and Nasus is making a great case for himself, getting himself the second tower for VBU, and his siphoning strikes are doing so much damage now. Every single Q he hits is going to be absolutely destroying. But now, less than 30 seconds until this Drake spawns, they are looking in to get vision, and of course, Revolution being on the back foot is going to be the first one in the river.
They are, but the Rift has spawned Colonel, and I think they're going to look to use this Rift to get the prio so that they can control the river for themselves. There's 11 seconds before this Drake spawns, and I don't know. I feel like them hitting the Rift is potentially even dangerous here. I think that Revolution are on thin ice at the moment.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that Rift drop just a little bit late, because if it's crashing while you're taking Drake, it has to split Rev. Instead, it's not going to be split up, but it could be up to this engage. That's a massive moonfall, and the Galio is going to be coming in right on top. Cosmic Radiance will keep them alive for now. Shockwave will find two. Set finds one on the back. That's the package finally being used. He's going to find one. Can he find Aardvark as well? That's a flash away. He's going to be flashing on. Can the rocket find it? Yes, it does. Double kill going over to him. Now Set on the backside is doing work. He's going to be collapsed on now, but how much can he get? Can he get anything else? No, he will not be able to. He'll get one last W off. It's big. Wow. Kyton going down low, but a killing spree nonetheless. That will be Soul Point going over to VBU.
And you just can't give Kyton the Corki, and we see why in this team fight, as we're going to go to replay very soon. Loading in here is a huge engage by Allfire, but they're able to disengage super well, but this Corki's so patient with the package, finding that window here, just jumping and one-shotting this Orianna, and finding the last rocket onto Aardvark, taking him down as well. And he just absolutely pushes the carries out all by himself, and then Revolution have to run because they just have no damage left Colonel as Vixper falls at the end of it all. And again, such a dominant performance from VBU ever since the early game was opened up in game 1.
Absolutely, and I have to give a lot of credit to Kyton. Of course, both of his packages so far this game have been monsters, but he has been a little bit quiet. Before that fight, he was not having the best KDA. He wasn't exactly getting too much work, and he was targeted early by the Sejuani. Both of Sejuani's early games were found onto him with that Glacial Prison. So I have to give him so much credit. Now he's got a 450 gold bounty over his head. He is doing work on this Corki.
And that's what happens when you leave a Corki on Tamed Colonel, as he's able to just sit back and relax. And there's just it's kind of like the Kassadin timer, obviously to less of an extent because Kassadin is that one-shot 1v9 champion. But if you let Corki sit and scale up for too long, he will just take over the game and absolutely blow you up. And that's what we've seen there. We've seen Revolution not able to punish this Corki early, and it's costing them the game here as he's hit his third item, finishing their rapid fire camp.
And my usual argument against that, actually, hold that thought, Unknown Angel. Oh, you are so dead. The Shockwave will find 3, but that is just a formality at this point. Aklo will take himself the 7th kill just to pad the KDA, and Unknown Angel falling yet again.
And I mean, that's what happens sometimes when you fall behind. You start to overextend. Just like I'm saying, Colonel, we're in trouble.
They're looking even further. Aardvark is going to be taken down so low. Kyton will take it without even having to use a Valkyrie. Now they're going to kite back. Valkyrie will get himself yet another one. Toxin Set, able to get one, but he's just going to be run down. He's trying to find one more. Ooh, he does. That's going to be a double kill going out. Oh my god, this W is so much damage. Mathematically perfect, but Kyton will take the kill nonetheless. Nasus absolutely ravaging the backline while they dealt with the Set. And I gotta give Set credit. He is trying his best, but it seems just way too little, way too late.
It absolutely does, Colonel, as it just seems like the team fighting from VBU is just a bit better. The Set is doing so well to explode the backline, but again, when your carries can't live to output damage, you're seeing how bad this Taric can look, because his Taric has done nothing this game, and it's not really his fault if Kyton is able to just Valkyrie in and explode this Ezreal and Orianna, and it seems that Rev have fallen very, very far behind in the hole here. Now, Colonel, in 2 minutes, Soul spawns for VBU to take. If they can win this fight down 6,000 gold, there is a chance and a window for them back into this game. So in the next 2 minutes, they need to try their absolute damnedest to get to their next item breakpoints and get to be strong enough to be able to take on VBU at one last Drake fight.
Absolutely, and all eyes for me are going to be on Aardvarks. He is the biggest hope for Evolution. He has slowly been scaling up. He hasn't been able to do too much yet. He's been having to use so much of his effort to kite away and hasn't been able to get that damage in. But now he's working on the Frozen Heart. If we could check the gold, he already has the Glacial Shroud, but he does not have too much in his pocket. He's going to be pretty far away as the Razzle's going to land. That's going to be the TP coming down. There's actually going to be a fight here. Cosmic Radiance is just way too late, and they're going to find a pick before it even comes down. Shockwave will find two. That's a W. Can they get the kill? So low onto the jungler, but it's just not enough. Now finally he's going to get the kill, Sejuani, but she may give her life for it. Yes, she will. And now the taunt. Ooh, barely dodging out his Aardvarks. Regardless, a double kill going over to the Nasus. Now Aardvarks is trying his best to get away. It looks like he will, but that is no longer the prize. The prize is the Baron.
Is the Baron Kernel, and the prize is the soul shortly after. I'm sure that VBU will have no problem absolutely shutting down this Baron as we go into replay, and it looks like Shopbarter and BB and Zygon are caught out a little here. He needs to press his ultimate right away, and he doesn't, and they do hit a two-man Shockwave, which deals so much damage to Allfire, but he's able to zone his just in time, and the extra time it takes for them to get onto this Diana and kill her is all it takes for the cavalry to arrive from VBU, and then they just go to town on the HP bars of Revolution and kill them all as they get Baron, and now the setup for Soul has begun.
Luckily, that fight happened before the Drake has spawned. If it had, it would have been even more difficult. But unfortunately, they were not able to get there. They do have vision in there, but they weren't able to set up within the river. I feel like the only hope you have, being so far behind, almost 7k down, would have been to be set up to be able to get a pick. And now your only hope left is to get a steal. Somebody comes down early, but it just doesn't matter. Zygon goes in just to flash back out. Now that is Infernal Soul going over to VBU.
And Colonel, again, you're not able to set up in time to fight. You were there earlier, but again, as soon as VBU shows up, it shows why they're so far ahead, and they're just able to take all of that space for free, and it feels like Revolution couldn't do anything there to stop the Drake from being taken. And I don't want to say it, Colonel, but with Infernal Soul and Baron coming barreling down at Revolution's base, I think this could be one of the last pushes of the game.
It absolutely could be. Titan is on the bottom side, pushing into that tower as well. So slowly, every single structure that Rev has to their name will crumble. They're going to be left with so little left. So far, they're holding the middle towers, but it's just giving room for Kyton to go further and further. Oh, they're actually going to be looking for a fight here. That's a little Glacial Vision going on to Toxin, but he's going to get out of it so quickly. And now that's one kill. Unknown Angel actually finding one. This could be what they need, but Kyton has arrived. He's going to find one. Can he find two? Yes, he can. And that is a double kill going over to this mid laner. Flashing forward, he'll find three. Can he get himself yet another Quadro? We saw two already in BOL. But that is a massive team fight win for VBU, and that could mean the game.
And again, it shows why these players are so threatening and why I mentioned VBU in the pregame were going to win this game. They're just too proficient on the champions that they were giving. Kyton silently 1v9ing this game with Akilo being very strong as well. And again, it's absolute teamfight domination from VBU as they take down Revolution here in game.
In a dominant fashion, they never really looked out of their element. Kyton coming back from early ganks as well, just looking absolutely disgusting. There was never a weak point that I could point out on this team. And for Rev, going into game 2, you have to go back to the drawing board.
You absolutely do. And what I would attack here is the Corgi. I know that Nasus dealt an unbelievable amount of damage, but he also received a lot of the jungle pressure from VBU. Allfire was in Akbalow's lane so often, which caused the snowball out from the Nasus. So I wouldn't focus him. The Corgi, who got no attention at all, just silently farmed up with Cull early, dies once in lane, but then absolutely carries the game silently. You can't let this player have this champion, Colonel.
You definitely cannot. He's just proven so proficient on it. And on Rev's draft, I would be looking in the jungle myself. The Sejuani was not able to get off the ground, did not have any real big early game impact. And on the opposite side, Diana did almost everything.
Yeah, and she executed on a game plan, and that's the most important part, Colonel, because all she did was show up top at the right times. And not even that she was all over the map, but if you're in the right place for one of your lanes and you're able to get your laner a huge lead, which is what Allfire did, it's really important to the success of your team. And even if they go back to this Sejuani next game, they have to have a more clear-cut game plan for Zygon to follow so that he can get one of his lanes snowballing.
We'll see if they're able to do that. We'll see what Rev can do to rebound from a dominant start for VBU in this best of 3. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We will be back with draft for game 2. Hello, everybody. We are back with Game 2 of Revolution versus VBU Krypton. I am so excited to see what Revolution is going to do to come back from what was a really, really tough loss.
It really is, because you don't know where to attack their draft in game 2, because it's just solid play out of the players themselves, not just the champions that they chose to lock in, Colonel. So I'm expecting a Corgi ban to come out here, but I don't think you can stray too far away from your draft strategy that you had with Revolution. You just have to do it cleaner, Colonel.
Absolutely. They had so much cohesion comparatively to VBU, but at the end of the day, it didn't quite matter. There was just a couple execution. And I think a big thing that I was thinking about was how little that Ezreal was able to get his feet off the ground. He started scaling up. He got his third item, but he really never felt like he had an impact.
And I mean, that is the problem when you play Ezreal and your team does fall behind. It's so safe as a weak side option. You're able to roam out as a support so much, or you can even have a scaling support and just let them farm it out. But when your top side falls, your top mid falls apart like it does, Ezreal starts to become a little non-existent, as it just doesn't have enough agency in the game if its team is that far behind.
Yeah, so we'll see if going back onto it is going to be in the cards for them, or if they decide they have to go for something else. But remember, they are on red side this time, so VBU may have the opportunity to take that out from under them.
And let's see if they do that here, as we're still waiting for game 1 draft. However, Colonel, honestly, a champion that I felt was missing out a little this game was that Wukong. It was banned in phase 2. I think the champion's very strong right now. I'd love to see a team pick it. Let's see if they do go to it, as we are in pick ban for game 2 now. Let's see what VBU choose to ban out.
I expect it to not be all that different. Looks like so far VBU is going to stick to the same champions, and Revolution as well, both taking off the Rakan, taking off the Ashe. VBU did take away the Hecarim as their third ban, but we'll see if they decide to do that this time.
And I think that it's an okay ban. I do think this champion has a ton of agency, especially in amateur at the moment, because it's such a oppressive early game champion that still is able to transition into a glass cannon team fighter. And though it's a risky strategy now compared to the old Hecarim style that was just unkillable, it still is a really strong champion on this patch, especially in this elo. So let's see what they lock in B1 here, Colonel.
Absolutely, and they did take the set off the table. They felt like that was just way too strong in game 1. It was a menace in the backline, to give credit where it is due. But right now, hovering the Nas is no, but they will lock into Hecarim. So obviously, VBU Krypton focusing on this Hecarim pick a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much value here on Hecarim still, because more importantly than everything I've mentioned before is people are comfortable on this champion. If you were a jungler in competitive and in amateur for at least a year now, you know you've played yourself some Hecarim, and you know that you had to learn Hecarim to survive, as Diego is being hovered. Lock it in, baby, lock it in, please. And I think it's it.
Yes,
oh my gosh, Colonel.
I am so excited for this pick. It's been absolutely tearing up in the professional scene. It's just got a higher skill ceiling than most champions, but when it gets off the ground, it can do so much work. It's just an impressive pick and is good in a lot of roles. I think at our level, it should be strong in top, jungle, and mid lane. So very excited to see this come out.
Colonel, I am so excited. The guys are being locked in as comfort for Aardvarks. He's been playing it mostly the split. It looks really good from him. It's a change of style from the Aardvarks that I know, but Toxin locking in Samira as his response. This is one of his most played champions in solo queue, and it looks like VBU are opting in to dive early, Colonel.
Very comfortable taking the fight to Revolution. Remember, with this flex pick, they have so many options, so VBU is in a little bit of a pickle where they don't know exactly what they're going to be comfortable blinding. I expect that the supports could be picked in this first rotation before we get into second ban phase.
I think it absolutely should be as well, Colonel, but With that said, I don't know if going full dive this early is the look, because there's so many champions that are able to peel out, but there's a champion that I didn't see slip through, and oh no, VBU Krypton are getting the Corki again. CV Rangers did it in finals, and now we're seeing Revolution do it here, and he didn't learn. Oh my goodness.
Oh, this time, I think it does not look like this was a forgot about the Corki or think we can handle it. We have something special just for this. Locking that Fizz in rather quickly. This looks like it could potentially be Unknown Angels counter pick into the Corki, but what a player to try and pull it up against.
Absolutely, and I don't know how the matchup is now that Corki is just so strong as a champion, but historically Fizz has fared well into Corki. I think the matchup has since changed a little, as Divine Sunder and Shield Bow are items that exist that haven't existed in past seasons. So it's definitely not as safe as it used to be, but let's see what he can do here on this champion pulling it out as they lock in Nautilus.
Looks like the second ban phase was focused mostly on supports. The Thresh, Zillion, and Leona all took it off the table, as well as that Gnar, which would have been for Aklo in the top side. Nautilus locked in for Revolution, and the answer looks like will be the Owlstar for VBU. Oh no, they will go with the Rel. Wow, what a great pick.
And I mean, we know that Rel has lost a lot of agency recently, but the Rel Samira synergy, as I think they're meme hovering the Mundo, they should know that they're not able to lock it in this week. I hope that they don't. It could waste a lot of time as they're hovering Singed now. VBU, you're trolling. Ay. And instead, they're going to finally hover the Gangplank. They were getting me there, Colonel. But again, Rel Samira, a great bot lane duo synergy. It plays well into this Kai'Sa Knot. And let's see what they can do here as they last second lock in Silas. It's spicy.
That's a Silas top for Aquilo. I'm so excited. Silas able to use a lot of these R's so effectively. Silas and Diego in the same game is always a trip. But so we'll have to see how that comes out, as well as looks like we still have yet to decide if this Viego is going in the jungle or going in the top side. So we'll see what Revolution decide who they want to give it to. And it looks like they're going to give it to their jungler, locking in the Fiora against the Silas. Trying to get that repost into the abduct.
I mean, Colonel, this is a pretty disgusting 1-3-1 comp from Revolution. Looking at the post-draft, I mean, they have the Fizz, the Fiora that are able to play in the side lane. The only question is will they be able to team fight when it's objective time into VBU Krypton? And, I mean, what do you think is going to happen?
The problem is Revolution has such a good 1-3-1, but VBU Krypton isn't shy from 1-3-1ing either. We saw Corki very comfortable in the side lane in that last game. And Silas, as long as he has TP, should be able to hold his own in the side lanes as well. So, it's a hard one. I would love to vote with the Spice. I always try and expect the Spice to come out on top, but VBU has just been too convincing this series.
And Colonel, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think that Krypton's draft just has too much in power. Like, if Rel and Hecarim are able to chain their ultimates together, these ultimates aren't that hard to hit, and Corki packages were so good, I could just see Revolution exploding around objectives. I know that Viego can get those resets and can turn almost any situation, but I mean, I think Krypton's comp is just too clean.
Absolutely, and these players just too clean too. We are going to be right back before we get into Game 2, VBU versus Revolution. Can Revolution bring us to a Game 3? Find out right after this break.
Only come out at night. No one listen to you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to VBU vs. Revolution in EGL Week 5. And we are going into what could be VBU's most dominant series to date.
Invade angle, baby. And I don't even know what they have level 1 here that's besides Aquilow's E, but holy am I excited, Colonel.
We'll see if Kaisa does spot this out. There she will finally spot them out. Nautilus is not on her way, but that's going to be the landing. Oh, it's so perfect, and they will get first blood right over to Toxin. It saw it coming, but nothing you could do. Ardbrox couldn't even flash away.
And I mean, at that point, you shouldn't. When the snipe comes out from Aquilow's chains, you just have to take the L because holy, was that a snipe from the Silas level 1? And that gives Samira a longsword, Colonel, and that's scary early on for VBU.
Especially in a lane like this where Samira always going to have some kill pressure, especially when she hits level 6 with that Inferno trigger. So we'll see what she's able to do with that early. If she could get that advantage, get that level 6 first, start to make some action in the bottom side. As we take a look at the junglers, interestingly enough, we don't usually tend to see top lane starts, but this time around, both junglers starting on the top side.
And I was going to compliment that, Colonel, as starting topside here is super beneficial to them as they're both trying to make as much action happen bot side as possible. They're also able to sweep out that ward, giving Aquilo a slight advantage in experience with the first blood as well. There's already action.
That is a great charge down. It shouldn't be too much. We'll see how much trade back Islamic Samurai can avoid. But Toxin Islamic, you're going to have a lot of damage. Oh, almost catching with that scoop. But this bot lane is going to be ready.
Yeah, they have to be ready if they're going to succeed in this lane as there's more and more fighting. Flashes coming out.
Both flashes actually going to be coming out. The dredge line does not land as well. Wow, this bot lane off to the races.
They really are, and that's what you have to do when you're playing Samira. I always talk about this a lot when I'm talking about people who play Samira. If you go up 2-0, 3-0 on Samira, that's almost expected on this champion because, I mean, she has so much overloaded power at levels 1 through 9, especially pre-lane phases. Islamic Samurai out of nowhere might be dead.
That is so much damage. The Ignite coming down, having to burn his flash to get away. We'll have to take a look at that. I have to assume he took a tower shot, but Zygon is here for the punish, coming in with this Viego, and the hook is not going to land, but the stun from way downtown. We'll find it. Toxin now looking in, but he's going to go fall instantly. Islamic area will only be there for the double kill, going over to Ardbrox, starting it off right.
And we were gonna criticize Zygon for not making enough moves early game, and he must have been listening into the stream with a little bit of a stream snipe because he heard us from the casting desk. He knows he needed to make plays, and looking at this replay here, it's just a nice trade from Sharpwater. Islamic Samurai misjudging what he's supposed to do. They back out, but they walk back in. It's so greedy, Colonel, and they're gonna get punished for a hit with a great flash from Zygon.
I have to give a lot of credit to Sharp Otter there, canceling out that remount from Islamic Samurai with the hook, stopping him in the animation and locking him out of it. That was a beautiful hook to set his AD carry up for the double kill.
It absolutely was, and now Corky as well, getting away with a cool start against the counter matchup of choice here. From my
that's
goodness,
a lot of
Colonel,
damage. They're going to be trading out. This is going to be flashing forward. No! Flashing away, and Vixper will find himself the kill. That is beautiful. Now, Kaiden TPing his way back in, taking a big trade, but that is a massive solo kill in the top side. And Revolution trying to convince us to go to a game 3, but that's a lot of damage. Uh-oh! Vixper overstaying and will immediately give it up. And if I remember correctly, it's deja vu from game 1.
It is, in Vixper you have the TP. You were already halfway backed off anyway, as Unknown Angel is just gonna slip out of there. All fire, that is not the angle. You can't look at this Fizz mid, he's just too slippery. But Vixper, you were backed off the wave anyway. You had the TP, you were planning on basing no matter what, and you just watched Aquila walk up and kill you. What are you thinking? Oh no, after a great first blood play, it all falls apart again for Vixper, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Allfire come back up top, Colonel, to get a little deja vu from game 1 again.
Absolutely. I mean, I would too if everyone just burned all sums up there. But regardless, bit disappointing to give that kill back. It could have been a big advantage for Revolution if they were able to get it with their counter pick. Remember, this was pick 5, but now this is the top lane gank. Expert trying to find a trade kill before he gets there, but that's the charge. He will fall. Also, Allfire will find himself the kill. That's going to tie the kills at 3-3.
And Colonel, let me tell you, I am shocked that Allfire came top lane. It's just absolutely unbelievable that this jungler would come to Aquilow's lane? Oh my goodness, Colonel. Honestly, I'll be honest here. I have to criticize Revolution a little bit here. Have you not seen this coming? I feel like you have to see this coming. A Zygon could look to go in here, Colonel. It's close.
Not sure if he would want it. Now he knows exactly where Toxin is. They get spotted out. He will decide not to go. I guess it's because of the mid lane priority. Fizz is first to rotate regardless, but now finally his bot lane will come in, and they could potentially look to close in this river.
Very strange play from Zygon, as they know they're roaming up river. You just have your bot lane release and fight them if they're there. I guess they just were a little too hesitant on making the play, but again, I mean, even though the kills are even, I think that besides bot lane, VBU have just looked so much more comfortable in this game, knowing that they have pretty decent scaling options, though I have to give credit to Zygon. He is up farm, he is up pressure, he has been playing fantastically. The play that he made was not a give me either. It was a really good mechanical play from him, and showing why he is picking up the Viego here, Colonel.
And a lot of credit to him specifically because that was our big problem with him from game 1 is that he didn't get in the action. He just sort of lost gracefully and didn't get to do that much. And this time, flipping the script and doing a lot for this early game. But regardless, with that river losing control and the bot lane having priority for VBU, that is going to be first Drake over to VBU Argon.
And I mean, Allfire getting to trade back to Drake is very good in this early game. Talking about some gold, if we could see the gold graph for just a second. I was going to point this out, Colonel. How greedy is Kite in here? Can we look at his items after we see the gold? The gold is looking like most of the lead is on. Most of the gold is distributed among the top side of VBU and Aardvarks for Revolution. But Kite starts cold tier. This man is a psychopath.
That is just disrespectful.
He goes 2 waves on Cole and buys tier. It looks like there's trouble in the top lane for Aquilo, though.
Trying to find the pick, the stun. Oh, he found his way into it, but the dredge line does not land. And using the Heartbreaker to find his way out, that could have been deadly, but able to get out without using any sums. The top side.
He is, and I mean, that's a great prediction from Zygon, and I think even Islamic Samurai wasn't, a Sharp Otter, I'm sorry, was not expecting that stun to land, because honestly, I wasn't either. It was a really good stun from Zygon, and I think it even got his own team off guard, Colonel.
Yeah, I don't think Sharp Otter saw it coming, but regardless, it was a good attempt. I appreciate coming up to this top side. They're definitely looking like they are doing better in the early game than they did in game 1. They're trying to be more proactive instead of just reacting to what VBU wanted to do. And so far, although it hasn't panned out, definitely a better outlook.
It absolutely is a better outlook, and I think that though I feel that VBU are more comfortable in this game because, again, Kaiden on this Corki with a Cole tier start and being absolutely unpunished is just unbelievable to me. I think he has so much power in this game, but Sharp Otter burns the Flash Colonel. It's devastation for Sharp and his hook accuracy on Nautilus in this game too.
Oh, you hate to see it. I appreciate the attempt, but once again, just not landing true on that dredge line. And
Cayenne not even needing to burn anything to get out. Just the Valkyrie was all that he was required to use. And now this is something where if you're Allfire, you can look in the bottom side. There is one sub missing. And potentially with level 6s all up, they could look here. But actually, Sharp Otter who's going to be looking, he's going to go with the ultimate on. But that's a lot of damage, but the heal's there. The hook finally coming in. Killer Instinct just a bit too far away. Islamic Samurai will get out with 5 procs of Plasma. One more would have done a massive amount of damage.
Yeah, I'd have to assume that Toxin burned E off screen in a trade because I feel like Toxin had a window to re-engage there. I mean, Zygon would have been there, so Zygon lurking in this bush as the Drudgeline lands Truth Kernel.
That finally getting the flash out of Toxin. He held it for so long, but now Zygon's here. He has the Rift Herald. They're going to be able to get maybe 1 plate, hopefully 2 before it cracks. But Allfire is coming in. He's using the Ghost. He's going to try and find as much damage. That's a great engage. That's going to go in. The fleeing is massive. Allfire will find a first kill under the support. Zygon, can you get your way out? He's actually R'ing back in. What was that? Immediately having to flash back out. Now they really want this fight, but now that's the TP coming in. Killer Instinct coming out. Do they have any CC to use it? No, they do not. The Silas not being able to use that TP too effectively, but regardless, VBU coming out on top.
And I'm gonna be honest, Aquilos's TP was the right idea at the wrong time as it was a little too late as he's diving a tower.
Oh, he found it! He found it! Blind! Zygon walking straight down the middle of his path. You cannot do that. Just guessing straight down the middle and it will land the abduct. And now Hardvarks, you can't stay here anymore. He's gonna go in with the Magnetstorm. The Magnetstorm does not connect. Sharp Otter is here as 4v2. Allfire is gonna go in. They're gonna lock him up. Can they get anyone under tower? No, they cannot. And they tried their best. Now, finally getting some root. The damage is still coming down for Aardvarks. They may have overstayed. That's going to be the TV. Big Spur's coming in. Big Spur did get a kill. Now this is going to be the grand challenge. Looking at, can he pop it? No, he cannot. The challenge was way too big. And now he's going to find a double kill over to the Silas. Samira finding 1 package in just for fun. Zygon going to try his best to escape. He was going to go in. He's going to find the kill. Can he get it? Shut down going over to the Fizz. The Trump Waters will not land. Unknown Angel trying his best to escape. The triple kill going over to the Silas. Make it a quadra act blow.
And Act Below goes mad in this absolutely chaotic and scrappy tower dive. There's so much to unpack there as we're going to try to take you through. The TP comes in because they've overstayed and it's the punish coming on. But I think Vixper goes in too deep here with his ultimate and he just tries to pick off Islamic, but he's just CC'd to death. Is able to go off with that engage, but taking too much as tower as Zygon shows up on the bot on the top side of the fight, and he's able to trade 1 back for himself, but he falls just before he's able to transform. And now Angel is in, but it's just too late as 4 of the last hits come over to Act Below, and he is now 6-1-3 Colonel. And let me tell you, it's looking tough because I think this Silas is just so disgustingly ahead. And look at Corky, he's even finished the Sunderer going cold tier.
That's another engagement in the bottom side. Killer Instinct having to be burned. Trading of ultimates, the junglers for the 80 carries. And I have to say that's probably a beneficial trade for Allfire. He can repeat, but Vixper take it down pretty low. But this is going to be a gank on the top side. Act Below. Are you in trouble? I'm not quite sure if you are. Zygon will finally find him. Gonna try and get the damage. This is done, but coming in is Vixper. Can he stay alive? Yes, he will. Shut down. 900 gold in the pocket of Zygon, and he will be very happy for that. But VBU will trade the Drake on the bottom side.
He will, and again, Zygon is scraping his team back into this game with really, really good plays all around on this Silas over the course of the early game here. And I mean, Silas is a pretty OP champion, Colonel, so I think there's potential for him to carry this here. And you can see through the gold lead that we are still pretty even in this game, though VBU has looked so strong with that shutdown going over to him.
Absolutely. We'll see what he's able to do with that gold. But they still have a decent amount of time till the next Drake. Cayenne almost being in trouble. But regardless, he will be safe. Allfire, we see what you're trying to do. He's sitting on the bot side. He has continued to do so. And that is going to be actually Fiora getting the first tower up in the top side.
And as good as Aquilo has been roaming, I do feel like he left lane for a very long time trying to make that extended bot lane play. And Vixper does TP down pretty late in that fight, but it does give him the tower in return and a big CS lead. So Wow, even though the Silas gets the Quadra, it's the Fiora who's 1k ahead, Colonel, and I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I think that's a little wild to me.
That is crazy. That's exactly what happens when first tower goes before the plates even fall. So much gold in the pocket, but that is crazy to believe that the 6, 2, and 3 Silas could be that far behind a 2 and 3 Fiora. But great job to Vicksburg. Got to give him credit there for standing his ground and then TPing in. He did get the 1 kill on the bottom side as well. But now Rift Herald seems like it is the target for VBU.
It is, and with all the priority in the world, it looks like it should go uncontested. But, Colonel, I have something to tell you. If you look at the items here with 3 finished and 1 to go, welcome to League of Sunderer. Oh my goodness, is everybody building the item on this patch? Even Viego and Fiora getting their share at the new item. And it's almost funny to see how often it's being built. I think Riot has to do something about this, as there's a little bit of fighting in the top side.
Oh, not sure if this is exactly what you want. That's gonna be Chum the Waters. Will not do any damage though. And Akbalo will walk away pretty happily, but Fiora potentially biting off more than she could chew. But regardless, that will be the Rift Herald going over to VBU. They did get the objective, and now Zygon on the bottom side going to try and find Toxin, the Blade Whirl, to avoid the W. And there's no Plasma, so there's no Killer Instinct. And now there's a TP to punish. Zygon has to try his best to escape. Akbalo coming in. He's going to flash forward, but the flash away is perfect. Now Sharp Honor has arrived. Now Akbalo could have given over his life. That's the ultimate coming in. And Heartbreaker will find the kill. And the heart is shattered of Silas. He will give over to yet another death after such a dominant start.
Absolutely, Colonel. And if you look at the gold here, even though it's 2 drinks to none, 2 kills up for VBU, it's Revolution, almost 2k on top, being able to take the early pressure super well from VBU. And even though they've been all over the map, the farm leads is seeming to prevail this far. It's absolutely crazy to see this change of pace from Revolution.
Absolutely. We'll see what VBU is able to answer with. Remember, Fiora is split pushing in the top side. She's doing a lot of damage to that top lane tower. But the Rift Herald will definitely secure this one. Fiora able to trade in tier 2. That's a tier 1 for a tier 2 trade on the top side. If she's able to finish it off, we'll see if she's able to. It's on such low HP. Not sure if we could get a number on that, but very low. And we'll see. 131. It is so low, but Fiora was not able to get it as 2 autos at maximum, so she could get that, but unfortunately, the tower's still going to stand.
Yeah, and I think Vicksburg may be overstaying here if there's a punish. Luckily, the back is coming through. I thought that Vicksburg was going to take the fight until I looked at that mana. Fiora is very low on mana here, and she does need to back off. I was hoping for some more action. Nonetheless, again, a full 1,000 gold lead still for this Fiora, I'm sure. And Colonel, as we start to near this Drake fight in 1 minute, I think we're going to see a pretty chaotic fight. Now, I have a question for you. Will this early game quirky package combo with this Hecarim Rel engage be enough? Or, I mean, Viego has been slippery all game. Is he going to prevail slippery again? He might be able to carry this team fight. What do you think?
My problem is, Game 1 doesn't exactly give Revolution any favors. Corky didn't need to combo it in Game 1. He was just landing the sickest packages without any help from his team. And this time around, having more setup, having the Wombo combo potential, I think Corky can do a lot of work. So Rev has to really prove me wrong and show that, yes, we can play around Corky package. We know how to defend against it. We know exactly what's going to be coming, and we can play around it.
I absolutely have to agree with you there as Kyden starts to walk in and take the space with his package, and he just, no regards for who could be there. He feels confident as he walks into the pit, and let's see, Colonel, I think that this could be a pretty game-swinging fight if they choose to take it on the side of Revolution, but
it looks like they're not going to try to take it. They're just going to let Fiora split push, Chum the Waters in on Silas just for fun, playing spoiler, but that's going to be another Demolish Proc on the top side, and they traded Soul Point for 3/4, maybe all of it. We'll see if Vicksburg's able to commit to it. Yes, he's able to. And full inhibitor turret just for Soul Point.
And with Cloud Soul being the case, I guess it's the right play. They're showing why maybe Riot shouldn't add that new Hullbreaker item next patch because, man, our Revolution actually playing the split comp really, really well. This Fiora is becoming an untouchable god, and even though there's Soul Point looming, Colonel, honestly, I can see the Fiora carrying this one at this point. She is massive.
Building her CS lead even further. If we could toggle the gold real quick, see how much further she is ahead. Oh my god, 1,600 gold in her favor in the top lane matchup alone will give the team over a 2.5k gold lead just for Revolution. And it's crazy to believe that with 2 kills less and not a single Drake to their name.
Absolutely, and if you notice there, Viego's also up the rest of the team's gold advantage as well, and it's very impressive to see Gaigon do so well here as he might have found Toxin.
Ooh, the Blade Whirl, very well done by Toxin to keep himself alive. If that stun landed, he would have surely fallen. But a good look nonetheless from Revolution as they take control of this river, and Baron is now just gonna spawn. So interesting that the Rev does have their vision on the bottom side, but regardless, game is starting to get closer and closer. So we're actually gonna look here. Oh no, the Blade Caller is not there, it's not ready! He's gonna fall down. It's a lot of damage, he's gonna try and use the ultimate. Will he survive? No, Fizz is gonna find himself a kill. And now Sharp Otter is in a little bit of trouble. That's another stun! Zygon's gonna find himself a kill, and yet another reset! And now as the Rel, can he find more? That is 2 quick kills off the back of some great engage. Zygon doing a lot of work with those stuns, and now they can siege the mid lane turret.
They absolutely can, and I would have loved to see them turn onto Baron here with 2 huge picks onto the bot lane. They do have the damage, in my opinion. Nonetheless, they get the tier 1. It's a good trade, and I mean, it was a great pick from Zygon to start it off, but not to mention that Fiora is just showing up now in these fights, and it's showing how ahead Revolution really are, as we're going to see Toxin overextend here again. He was just extended a couple seconds ago, and on the very next wave, he extends once more, gets caught with no AoE wind wall in sight, and his team goes in, I think, a little too deep to try to save him. Aardvark's able to flash out, and Islamic Samurai also continuing the fight where there's no fight to be continued, and with TP being burned by Chitin as well, it's a little scary. I'm gonna be honest, it's a little scary from VBU as I feel this game is slipping from their grasp despite Soul Point on the card.
Absolutely, and just like what you said before, you called it out perfectly. The reason that this doesn't feel as bad is Cloud Soul just doesn't feel nearly as strong as any of the other souls. It feels very hard to lose with the Mountain Soul, and Infernal Soul and Ocean Soul can each be incredibly powerful. And while Cloud Soul is so strong, I feel like the movement speed is generally not valued as much as it should be. Regardless, it's something that you're okay giving up. And now Fiora on the split, when she does go for it, is able to do it. Oh, that's a beautiful ward. The game sense paying off there, but Fiora's only going to become stronger.
She is, and honestly, when I look at her items right now, she's just so scary. The components in her inventory are a little deceiving because in components alone, that's 3,000 gold worth of components, and oh my goodness, it's so hard to tell how ahead she is because she doesn't have a finished item, but as soon as that second finished item comes through, it is going to be devastation for VBU.
And remember, she did take a pit stop for the Executioners. Both her and Viego have them checking out specifically for the Hecarim, as well as the Samira. Both can heal a ton. Remember, Silas with that Kingslayer also doing a lot. But whoa, this is going to be an early Baron start, only 23 minutes in for VBU.
I think this is a play they have to make, Colonel. Let's see if the contest comes through, but they're behind, so this is a bit of a desperation play, but let's see if the fight happens.
Hecarim looking in with the onslaught of shadows, but he's going to go fall down instantly, and that's going to be a good knockup. Can they find the fight? This is going to be a lot of low HP bars, and the fight just turned for VBU. Triple kill going over, and that's Samira absolutely popping off. Quadra kill to Toxin. Give it to him. That is ridiculous. A great team fight win for VBU.
And now it's the Baron, the Soul, and the Ace from VBU, and just as Revolution had everything in their hands, it all falls apart as this is such a clutch macro call from VBU. They know that their time is running out as Fiora is starting to scale up. They're trying to get the fight out before the next item spike happens. Sharp Otter goes in, but this wombo combo from ulti comes out, followed by the huge rel engage. And now look at Samira, look at Samira, look at Samira, and the huge ultimate absolutely erases the HP bars of Revolution, and devastation strikes as VBU takes it all.
Whew, it goes, but they got everything they wanted. Oh, have they? Yes, they have. Kytin maybe giving up his life for it. We'll see if Sharpotter's even able to finish it off. He's going to use the ultimate. Can it be enough damage? Yes, it is. Shut down. That is hilarious. Going over with the depth charge. And now, actually giving over his life as well. All fire. So, Revolution finding advantages back, but still, Soul and Baron off of an ace is a massive advantage. But now, Rev with a 5-3 numbers advantage can potentially look to push. That's going to be the hook. It's going in. That's going to be Unknown Angel actually finds the kill with the jump. The water's in the backside, and now he's going to flash away. Can he find even more? That's the grand challenge. We'll give Vixper the heal. Now Toxin. Can he find it? He's going to get hooked. No, he's going to get stunned up. He's going to get locked down. Can he find it? Oh, Samir's going to find 2. He's going to find 3 before he falls, but still, that's the ace for Revolution, and this game is on a knife's edge.
It absolutely is on a knife's edge. Colonel, as we look at the replay here, they're just overextension after overextension, and now they're stuck in a 3v5. Allfire just needed to leave Kytin to die, but nonetheless, we're going to see Akbalo overstep under tower here as the engage happens. Now, look at Toxin kite this out well as she gets ignored, but there's more action, and Allfire slays Vixper. Colonel, we don't even get to see the replay as there's just trade kill after trade kill after trade kill after trade kill, and oh, we are in an absolute back and forth battle between these two teams.
Vixper staying just a little bit. We saw it happen in the beginning of game 1 in laning phase as well as laning phase in game 2. Starting to see a little bit of a pattern there, but regardless, still back and forth. If we can take a look at the gold graph real quick, it looks like despite dying, Fiora is still massive with a big advantage over the Sylas.
I mean, and that's what you have to expect when you're in a side lane all game. I only expect that she's level 15 at this point, as we're about to see here as she respawns. 14. I would assume almost 15. Because let me tell you, this Fiora has been in the side lane all game, and she's so massive. And also, levels matter in this game, especially if you're Fiora. And I just got the word from production. She is halfway to 15, so that's only actually a half a level up. Maybe I'm a little mistaken here. I thought that she was in the side lane so often, but it looks like Akbalo has been able to keep up pretty well. But Sharpotter's caught, Colonel.
Straight through the team of Sharpotter, and he's going to get knocked up. He's going to get shut down. Toxin getting himself the kill. And that's not what you want to see. Walking just way too greedily through a top jungle when it's not something you control. Now, Unknown Angel on the wrong side of the map. He's going to try and stall the best he can. He is a slippery champion, but we'll see if he's able to. It looks like no one should chase him, so if he wants to, should be able to back. Actually, has the opportunity to push here. He's going to be on the inhibitor tower. He's going to try and find it, and now it's up to VBU to pull trigger. They tried. They do have the one pick, but can they get anything more here? Vixper dashing in, but that's going to be Kytin doing a lot of damage. He's going to find the kill. Now it's engaged on the other side. Magnet Storm doing so much work. Toxin finding himself a kill into Vixper. And now that is a great fight. The grand challenge just could not match. Now trying to confight. That is going to be the depth charge. Can they find the knockup? Yes, they will. But as long as Samurai going to get healed up, Toxin using that summoner spell to keep his teammate alive. Now they're trying so hard to hold on to this tier 2 tower, but is going to fall. And now Abduct will not land from Akbalo as the tier 2 falling to Revolution.
And Colonel, this could be the Toxin 1v9 angle as this game is neck and neck because there's 2 minutes till Elder and these teams are not taking a break. They're not stopping to fight as they fight again.
Saigon's going in. Might be way too far. He's going to be caught in. Oh no, he's going to fall. Toxin on a killing spree. Now Sharpouter going to die for his jungler sins. Kytin giving himself his second kill of the game. And now they don't need to stop the siege.
And Colonel is just going to talk about how both teams need to sit back, how Revolution have to sit back and relax before the Elder play, but it seems that they just keep chasing, and now VBU are TPing in. Could they be looking to end the game, or could this just be an inhibitor? I don't know.
The TP signals that they want more. They're going to continue to try and push. Chum the Waters did clear a ton of the caster minions, but they're going to try and continue to push. They're trying to clear as many minions as they can. and this could leave them an opening to at least siege either Nexus Towers or the mid lane tier 3. As soon as their wave crashes, there will not be a wave to match for Revolution.
And Colonel, it looks like they are not resetting and not letting up here as they're stepping up to hit the mid. They just need to reset. You have so much gold in your pockets. Please show mercy to my soul, Colonel. Please don't throw the game back when it's in your hands. And whew, my heart is saved as they're finally, they're taking a couple too many camps. Hopefully Aquilo doesn't get caught out here, but for my heart, they get the reset off just in time for this Elder to be spawning at 45.
The chicken lives to see another day, but it is only so short as Fiora will take it as well. And if we take a look at the map, Revolution has great vision control of this bottom side of the river. They have 2 control wards, a stealth ward, as well as the scuttle. They're going to be looking to try and set up a death bush. Can they find who they're looking for? Ooh, Allfire almost coming in, but now he has attract and repel tap on him. It's going to be the stun. Can they find it? The depth charge will go in. Unstoppable with the ultimate. That's beautifully done. Well timed. Chum the Waters misses. That is 2 big ultimates wasted the side of Revolution. Now we'll see if VBU can punish.
And I think they should be able to with the Corki package being up just in time for the Elder. And this is the team fight angle that you want. If you're VBU, you just have to find the right engage. All eyes are on Islamic Samurai here on this rel, seeing if he can find exactly what his team is looking for with Allfire's ultimate down.
He did so well in game 1. He had ridiculous kill participation in that game, but now they're slow to fight for this, and the Drake is going down. It's going down so much further. It's going to be smited away soon. Can he flash forward? No, he does not find it. He will give over his life, and he will die. Fiora is on the split push. That is their only hope left. She's going to get 1 inhibitor, but it looks like she's going to back. She does not want to try for the base raise. And now is their chance to come in. There's going to be a lot of damage. That's a shutdown. Titan going to find 1. Titan's going to find 2. Double kill going over to him. Finally falling to Fiora. And now Fiora is locked in a bad situation. She's going to have to flash. She's going to have to dash. Can she get herself away? Hecarim is going in. Oh, she's going to die. At death. Hecarim will fall. But that's going to be the turrets. That's going to be the Nexus. I don't see any way they're going to win this one. They're going to try and get themselves a little more. Pad that KDA. The shutdown goes through. He will. I think he will. Oh, it takes a little bit of damage, but that regardless, that is the ace coming out for Revolution, respawning just in time to give his life. But actually, that's 1 kill going over.
No.
Can they not finish? You're trolling just a little bit too hard now that they're trying to go in. Zygon, can he find the kill? Yes, he does, but he will give over his life. And now Samira should be able to finish it off. Aardvarks, he tried. That is game. That is a series. VBU with a dominant 2-0 over Revolution.
And Colonel, oh my goodness, was that game a banger as the engage around the Baron proves to be the difference for VBU. That Samira damage. Honestly, I'd believe it if you told me that a 5,000 of that Samira damage happened around that Baron fight as she went massive with that quadra kill. And oh my goodness, did it totally swing the tides of the game and secure VBU this 2-0 week.
Absolutely. So much credit to them as they climb the standings. Remember, they were in second before this week. They did fall to Hyperion or below Hyperion in the standings, trying to make their way back up. But for Revolution, not out of it yet. They are in the bottom half of the table, but still lots of games to be played.
There absolutely are so many left. As we start to get towards the middle of the season, we are so close to playoff time, and playoff storylines are on the way, Colonel. I am so excited as we get to the last couple weeks of the EGL regular season. It's a banger every week.
It absolutely is. Congratulations to VBU Krypton on such an amazing win. Revolution back to the drawing board for next week. But that has been EGL Week 5. I've been Colonel. Paul was my caller. Thank you guys so much for watching. Catch us next week. Adios.